YouTube. Welcome back to our amateur noob book reviews. Today we are focusing on Dwarven Holds. I am Lucky Sixes, and this is Hypergy.
Yes, it is. And yeah, I mean, we know nothing about this game. We've never played it before at all, have we? So,
Exactly.
I mean,
Nice fresh look.
yeah. First look for us, ever.
Yeah. Although arguably with 3.0 not just dropping, it's been dropped for about 4 months now officially. Um, yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
go. We're doing this so we can go through all the books and see how they are. Today we're on dwarves, and typically everyone hates dwarves, right?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, I don't really know how that started. Um, I think it's definitely a ninth age thing as opposed to other games, right? I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, I mean, I have a dwarf army. I've had a dwarf army since forever, and I just don't want to play it. So it's not a great way to start a book review of an army. And I don't think I've got anything against them. I've never wanted to play with that army. So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Well,
And the
maybe after
last
this
time I
review
picked
you
up a
will.
model was, yeah, the last time I picked up one of my dwarf models was to play in a mega battle. And I used them as infernal dwarfs then. So every chance I got to avoid playing dwarfs. But yeah, maybe after this review I'll like them again.
See,
Who knows?
yeah,
Yeah,
even you hate them, and they're your army.
yeah, yeah.
We're on
Yeah,
dwarves. We're gonna go
yeah.
straight in. As with most things, there's a bit of fluff
Yeah.
just before a nice map, and then we get on to the army specific rules and the ancient grudge.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's been around for a while. It's not new, but hatred is amazing. If you want to get that synergy up and have lots of ancient grudges going on,
Yeah,
because I mean you can make more than one. Quite a lot if you choose the right units. We'll see as we go through the units which ones generate the grudge tokens.
yeah,
But hatred is amazing. For any army, no matter what your offensive skill is. So
yeah. And
it's
this just
definitely
gets
something to consider.
it gets put on a unit, and all your units hate it. That's great. And
Yeah.
there's a few ways to get two or three.
Mm.
Often have like three against me when I'm playing dwarves. So
Okay. That seems to be a nice average number, does it?
well, yeah. Uh,
It's great that
Horn.
all your units get it. So
Yeah, no, it's really good. Horn out of the mountains. Hewn
yeah,
out of
Hoon.
mountains.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This is like the classic dwarves aren't as affected by magic
Yeah,
as other armies are really. I mean, elves have got their little thing. Um, I was going to say Saurians, but no, they don't anymore. Wow, wow. And yeah, dwarfs have always been resistant to magic, and this is their thing. And I mean, +1 modifier in a game where magic doesn't have a lot of modifiers anymore
yeah,
is pretty strong actually. So
yeah,
if your
and
opponent does roll low, you can afford to maybe split your dispel dice.
yeah,
So
and a reason to have maybe the rune smiths or things like that as well.
mm,
So I quite like that.
yeah, exactly. It's good.
Shield wall, the old
Mm,
Viking esque thing, I think. Um,
yeah,
yeah. Shield wall models of height 1-3 use hand weapon and shield simultaneously, gain ages 6 up and
yeah.
ages
I mean,
5 up against charging models. I think it's really good.
it's always been pretty good, but in a game where now infantry, ranked up infantry, has
Yeah,
come full circle, um, this is really nice because the units you want to take have got this more often than not,
yeah.
and you don't need to be charging to maximize its effect, really. So yeah, it's superb, really superb.
Yeah, and then onto some weapons, obviously shooting weapons that are specific to the dwarf book. We've got forge repeaters, aim 4
Mm.
plus, 18-inch, 4 shots each, strength 5, AP 2, flaming and quick to fire.
I
Are
know. I
they?
mean, this weapon has changed so much, like over the
Yeah,
years. Not necessarily recently, but 4 shots. Where did that come from?
yeah.
I
Just
mean, that's
noticing that as well.
practically an elven bolt thrower, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I did not realize these guys had 4 shots.
Yeah, it's
Maybe that
interesting.
is
We'll see
one
what.
of their more recent changes, but yeah.
Yeah. And, okay. 18 inches is not too far though, so I guess there's that, and it's not march and shoot. So yeah, we'll
Hmm.
see. Guild crafted handguns are have a aim specific to the unit. 24 inches, so a bit further. Strength 4, AP2, one shot each. Accurate, stand and shoot. So not many things have stand and shoot,
No.
but unwieldy. So if you move, it's an extra +1 to
Hmm.
hit.
It's solid. It's solid. The extra pip of AP is really nice, and
Yeah.
accurate is fantastic. If you can actually hit your shots, then you're halfway there, aren't you? I've just taken a quick peek ahead, and the forge repeaters aren't actually on the infantry model.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're actually on the grudge stuff, the flying stuff, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
that makes it slightly less good when I was originally talking about it, because I thought this was on the infantry models, but it's not. Good, good. Carry
Yeah.
on.
No. Yeah, going on to special items. So similar to the demons, I guess, that we did
Demons.
a little while ago. They have runes rather than
Mm.
special items, so you have to combine them. There's a rule of three where you can have up to three, and you can't have the same combination on two items.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's been quite a traditional thing for dwarfs. I think it's quite good. I mean, it's funny how I had a bit of a negative opinion of the demons, and this one doesn't bother me so much because it seems more topical. But on the same way, I kind of like whenever I come across a dwarf list, if any model has got more than two runes, I just decide to stay away from them because they must be nasty. which is a bit mean, give them their due and stuff like that. But it usually means they're either very, very killy or they're unkillable,
Yeah.
um, generally. But yeah, it's quite good keeping to their lore. So all
No,
good
yeah,
in that
that's it.
respect.
And in terms of these are the weapon
Yeah,
runes. So we have rune of destruction, multiple wounds, D3, always
so good.
nice. Quite a lot though for 80 points, I think. But yeah,
Yeah, it is if you're only rolling ones on the D3s, but
yeah.
you're rolling
That's
those fives and sixes when it matters.
yeah,
Those monsters are going down left, right, and center. So yeah,
absolutely.
then you're fine with the 80 points.
Rune of smashing means you have a model with resilience 5. Your strength and armor, strength and AP, sorry, is set to 10, which is so good. So you're just a
Mm,
monster killer.
it is. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing with that, of course, is you're only doing one wound each time, but that still might be okay. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Rune of Quickening for
great.
agility, Rune of Might for a little pip of extra strength and AP, Rune of
Hmm.
Penetration for all the AP, plus 3 AP is pretty good, and Rune
Cheap.
of
Yeah.
Anger for +1 attack, Rune of
Hmm.
Precision +1 to hit, all fairly standard. Rune of Craftsmanship allows for the rules for great weapons instead of its original weapon rules.
Yeah, because I mean, I think usually you have to put them on hand weapon and paired weapons as part of the runic weapon enchantments. But if you stick a rune of craftsmanship on, then you know you
Yeah,
become a hand weapon or a paired weapon with the great weapon bonuses as well.
yeah,
And then you've got room for two more if you want. So that's quite nice.
yeah. So does it replace the paired weapon, for example?
No, no, I think it just makes the paired weapon a great weapon as well.
Oh wow.
Oh no, instead it does say instead of its original weapon rules actually. Yes.
Oh
So
yeah, okay.
so yeah, paired weapon. You don't want to put this on a paired weapon. Put it on a hand weapon that you haven't paid for. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it becomes a great weapon basically. But you can only do two more runes on top of that. So
yeah. Rune of
yeah.
Lightning is a very interesting one. Getting extra
Mm.
grind attacks for and lightning attacks for your bonus, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing with the grind attacks is they're not affected by other runes, so you can't get a whole load of broken synergies going on. But I
Yeah,
don't think you really need to, really. And also, you can stack them to two lots of Rune of Lightnings, max two, so you can't have three. But 2d3 grind attacks when you need them is pretty nice. I mean,
yeah,
Strength 4 AP1 is always going to have its limits, but yeah, it's a nice grind, really.
yeah. Rune of Fire gives you flaming, and Rune of Returning is a quite cool little thing. Accurate and quick to
Mm.
fire. It's Thor's hammer, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean it's very short range, so you're not going to be hurling it across the battlefield. But you this time you can actually boost it with other
Yeah.
runic weapon enchantments.
And I've seen that like
So
with Rune of Lightning and things like that added on and all these things as well. So yeah, you
yeah,
can get some nice combinations with the small thrown weapon shooting essentially.
could you do rune of returning with rune of destruction? D3 wounds.
I think you can. I think you can.
Yeah, I can't see any reason why you can't. So if you
Yeah.
can't, let us know. But I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just hurl that standing, or well, even better, stand to the side of a monster. I was going to say stand in front of a monster, but why not stand to the side? Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Onto the armor, and we have some fairly standard ones and some nice ones as well. Reroll armor saves with steel, resistance with rune of resistance,
So good.
a +1
So cheap.
armor, and you can get multiple of this for rune of iron. Rune of retribution. When rolling a successful Aegis save from shield wall, the model inflicts a hit with the same strength and AP as the attacker. As the attack. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we've already said that shield wall is amazing, and if you can hit back because of it, then even better. I like it. And it's cheap. It's almost like the points you'd spend to fill out a model if you've got them.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit
So,
something extra. And
yeah.
then Rune of the Forge giving you flaming, pretty standard. In the banner enchantments, we've got Standard of the Hold, which gives you Resolute. Now, Resolute is a newish rule, giving
Mm,
you one extra rank
rank
than
bonus. Yeah.
rank bonus. Not is it when you charge, or is it just in the first round?
It's just always.
Okay,
Yeah, always, I think.
cool. Standard of
Yeah.
Swiftness gives you Vanguard.
Mm,
Gives a runic standard of Grudges gives you an extra grudge.
nice.
And you can see where the different combinations can get them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is extraordinary. You can only have one of those runic standards, but, combine it with other sources of ancient grudge and you got a whole. Soon enough, you're getting hatred against the opponent's whole army.
Yeah, yeah. The standard of wisdom is basically a bound spell battle rune that you have to
Hmm.
note down, but an extra spell is always nice and can be quite useful actually as well.
I think it's cost effective as well because I mean, some of these spells, as the battle runes, as we're going to get onto them, they're pretty good, and an extra one is nice for that price.
Yeah. Runic standard dismay. Charging rolls against the bearer gain minimized, and I think this is the type of thing, and we're starting to see it now, where like dwarves kind of just annoy people.
Yep.
It's this type of item that
Uh-huh.
nopes you that
Yeah.
I don't think does them
Yeah.
very. That they have quite a lot of these sorts of things going, and I don't think that
Yeah.
type. Personally, I think that type of item is a bit like rubbish for the game. But
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I
I rolled my
understand.
6 to charge you.
Yeah,
Nah, you got to re-roll that, mate.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's and it's so I don't like that type of item, but I never have in the way I play. So um, yeah, it feels
Yeah.
very mean. It feels very mean. Runic
Mm,
standard of steadiness. The bearer unit loses unwieldy, so that's for
yeah.
your guild
Handgun
crafted
units. Yeah.
guns or whatever they're called.
Mm,
So that's quite cool. I quite like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Runic
Nice and cheap
standard
again.
of the anvil. Yeah, a lot of these are fairly cheap. I suppose in order to get some decent combinations, you need some cheap
Mm,
ones.
yeah.
Standard of the anvil is unit. Whenever a friendly unit charges an enemy unit already engaged in combat with this unit, and fails its charge roll, it must re-roll. So basically, come on, back up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We will help you out
reinforces.
because they're,
Yeah,
they're they're buddies. Mm. Yeah, camaraderie. I like that.
yeah. Artifacts and rune of denial starts us off, which is
Oh, you were
another.
just mentioning it.
Yeah.
No, no
Player.
one else really gets one of these.
No, I know. Player may choose to use this rune instead of performing a dispelling roll and automatically dispels. Yeah, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. We'll give it. We'll say that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's this type of thing that's just annoying. I think. Rune of
Mm.
devouring may choose to use this rune instead of performing a dispel roll. So another type of dispel, really. It's cast but cannot be cast again for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Rune of Grounding may be activated when choosing equipment abilities. One turn. All spells with duration one turn come to an end.
Yeah. I mean, I would struggle to. I don't know. You've got to engineer a situation where that's usable, and for 65 points, you've got to really try. I think
Uh,
that one's probably one that
so so Rune of Grounding is 40 points. Rune of Devouring is 65.
Hmm. Oh, sorry.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's really good. I think because if you get into combat, they put a spell on you in your turn, you can just turn it off.
Hmm. Yeah. No, sorry. I was getting the wrong price for it, but still. Yeah. I mean, I do think you need to be a good dwarf to get that to work properly.
Yeah, yeah. But all those three are very much noping your opponent.
Definitely.
In
They
each of
really
your
are.
opponent's magic phases, immediately after excess, they must discard one magic dice.
That's another note.
In each
You
of
know.
your opponents. Oh my goodness, yeah. Right, so yeah, we
Yeah.
don't like we don't like the artifacts. Artifacts are bad.
No. And I don't even think
Um,
that that's really the most common way that dwarves play with these artifacts. Like,
yeah,
I haven't actually played dwarves in years now, I don't think. But I know
yeah.
I have. I played them at Art of War. Silly me. But yeah, that was a horrible battle. I don't want to remember that. It was nothing to do with the artifacts, just for the record. But still, anyway.
Rune of
Yeah,
Channeling is just a channel. Fair enough.
it is. That one will allow them, right?
Absolutely. Dragon's Breath gives you a breath attack. I don't really rate this because breath attacks I think are a bit pants now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they're very very niche to use.
Mm,
So and you can't use them in combat, so that makes it even harder for these characters to use
really
properly. I
does.
think.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
a Rune of Readiness maybe activated at the charge phase, and if the bearer's unit was successfully charged during this phase, it may perform a combat reform. So
Mm.
yeah, it's an interesting one. I've had it against me a few times, but I've never really seen it where it matters. You know?
No, I think it's because these days most units are going to be in the formation that they want to be, and unless they're doing a post-combat reform where they're adding ranks, or adding files or whatnot, they're probably going to be in the formation they want to be, unless of
Yeah,
course you're putting it on a unit that has shooting and they're shooting in two ranks and then reforming into a combat formation. I suppose that might be useful, but it does mean you've also got to take musicians to really make the most of it. Otherwise, you're only moving two models, etc. Um, but yeah, you know, it's all right. And again, I think if you're making it part of your game plan, then fine. But otherwise, I think you're probably just going to leave it at home.
yeah. I don't know. Is it like shooting units that are wide and can get
Yeah,
ranks? Maybe.
that's what I'm thinking. Because most combat units are going to be in the formation they want to be in
Yeah.
anyway, until they're post-combat.
So
But
yeah.
I
I so
suppose it gives you flexibility if you're
yeah,
charged by something you
it
weren't
does.
expecting to be charged by.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, but yeah, I haven't yet seen it with
Mm.
effectiveness yet. Rune of
It's only
Shielding
30
gives you
points.
yeah, exactly. Rune of Shielding an extra Aegis. Which can only stack with itself and shield wall. So it's max 4 up, but yeah, I think that's a decent price.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, you're probably not going to buy just one of these unless you're guaranteeing a shield wall, in which
Yeah,
case you can. But yeah, yeah, it's nice to have it.
yeah. Rune of Courage gives you Stubborn, which is halving the combat res now. Rune of
Mm.
Storms gives you a choose a single enemy unit within 24 inches of bearer. Charge speed and mobility of all models with fly in that unit are halved, rounding fractions up.
Nope.
Another nope. Another nope. But I appreciate stopping fly for a small. That's kind of like okay. So the flying
Yeah.
things might be pretty tough for you to pin down, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you should mention with this one, I think it affects your flying units as well, you know, so
Yeah. So grudge
take that into account,
throwers or
you know,
whatever. Yeah.
grudge busters, grudge throwers, or not throwers. Yeah,
No.
you
Yeah.
you know the units we're talking about. Yeah, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But it's cheap enough that if you're taking it, it's probably because you haven't got many fly models yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's cool.
yeah.
Ambush. Scout and Vanguard for Rune of Kinship.
Hmm. Yeah, why
Cannot be
not?
taken by models on the War Throne. Okay. And a Rune of Mining gives you as long as the bearer is on the battlefield, all friendly models may treat a chosen terrain feature as open terrain.
Yeah,
So, and I don't mind that. I think that's quite a nice
no,
one.
I think it is. It's a less useful Stalker standard, I guess. But
Yeah,
if you can pop the right terrain feature and then deploy, knowing that you won't care about it anymore, then fantastic. You know, so
yeah.
it kind of does the same job as Stalkers, but it's a little bit more limited if your unit isn't that maneuverable. But chances are that's going to be you because you're dwarfs. So yeah,
So it does.
cool.
So, I'm just trying to look at whether I read it wrong. Can you choose a impassable terrain?
uh, yeah. It doesn't say any type of terrain that you can't choose. And it would only be you that could go through it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't
I
know
mean, you
whether
do have
I'm
to
just reading that
get
wrong.
through it the whole way. You can't just go inside it and stand inside it because you have to finish the unit spacing rule at the end of your move.
Sure.
So, you do have to be able to clear it.
Yeah.
I guess this would be in a situation where that impassable terrain might not be that big, if that's a thing.
Or like corner
You do
clipping
well
or
to
something.
get in it and clear it. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you're just clipping it to try
Uh,
and get into a situation, but yeah, I don't see why you couldn't.
okay,
I mean, it's
interesting.
rune of mining, right? They're just
Yeah, yeah.
mining it down. So
Mine
mm,
a big mountain, yeah.
it's like yeah, Sonic.
Cool. Uh, yeah. The battle runes. We have these are the magic for the dwarves. So they're all bound spells. All 3+4+ to cast. So they're
Yeah,
pretty
cheap.
easy to cast. With
Mm,
2 dice, which is a rarity now, I think actually.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, of course, with all bounce spells at the moment, if your D6 is bad, then you're in trouble, and you're going to wish you roll more dice. Um, But the fact that they're threes and fours means that you're probably going to risk not rolling a one on the d6. Because even if you roll a two, you're probably okay. I mean, not definitely, but you can only fail these with rolling a one on the d6. I would suggest.
Yeah, yeah,
So
agreed.
you know, yeah. We should mention before we go too deep into the book or what these runes do. You know, the dwarves have got a load of these runic stuff. They don't have access to the main
Yeah,
arcane compendium, like the demons. So there's a lot of items that you might say, well, why do they get access to that, or why have they got two accesses to that? They haven't got two. They've just got to replace the ones in the main book with these ones. So there is a lot of options, but they're also restricted from what a lot of the other army books get, which is topical. So it's fine.
yeah.
I don't think
Uh,
they miss out really from not having
no, I don't think
access.
so. It's very in keeping. I think it's quite
Mm,
a fluffy thing. It's like yeah, I quite like it. But yeah, and they're not meant to be magical, are they? So it's
no, no,
yeah, just to give them some magic as well.
yeah. So which of these battle runes stands out to you as being the one?
I've never so going through them. I've never really liked magic resistance. As a thing, I think
Okay,
it's very
no,
niche as a thing. Even when you
yeah,
always have
agreed.
it, I don't
Hmm.
think it really matters that much. So I'm going to dismiss Rune of
Yeah,
Revocation. Um,
agreed.
Rune of Reckoning is kind of you can kind of get anyway
Through the grudges.
through the
Yeah.
grudges. Because hatred always first strike hatred, or is that just hatred? I suppose it.
No, I think this is hatred, so it's all
Yeah.
rerolls.
So
You,
that is
you would
kind of
need it to
good.
say first strike for it to only be
Yeah.
the first turn. Yeah.
So it's kind of good, and I guess if you're doing it on your turn, a lot of the time, well, I don't know. So yeah, that's all right. It's a bit of a buff, but not too bad. Zeal
Mm.
is really good. I got that's re-rolling. That's like resistance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rerolls to wound. So yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's re-rolls to hit, re-rolls to wound. So that I
yeah.
would
It
I
feels
guess
like Rune of Oaths is better. Like
yeah,
some
yeah.
reason, rerolling to wound seems better than rerolling to hit, but statistically, they're the same thing.
And I guess as well, a lot of your stuff is as a dwarf, a lot of your stuff is probably going to be middle-ish
Middle,
offensive
I'd
skill,
say so.
and quite high strength. So
Yeah,
I guess arguably they've both got a thing, but with getting hatred from your grudges, I think
yeah,
I would agree. Rune of Oaths is probably better for me. Rune of Resolve, Swift Stride, Light Troops, and Magical Move, amazing. Really, really good,
yeah.
especially if you can use it. But I've never been able to really myself use magical moves perfectly.
No,
So when you come up against someone that can, this is a real devastating spell.
yeah,
As well,
yeah.
because a lot of the time they just kind of leave this for last. Then all of a
Hmm.
sudden those throwing weapons are in range, for example,
Yeah.
or something like
Or
that.
that
So
whole turn that you planned out after their turn's finished is now got to be reassessed because they're in a
yeah,
different place
yeah.
entirely. Yeah.
So, I really like Rune of Resolve. Rune of Gleaming is it's a solid spell, distracting a hard target, distracting on your again middle-ish and or parry units is pretty good
Hmm. Very
across
good.
the board, especially bearing in mind you've got the five of pages or the shield wall in as well, so it makes your unit super tanky. That one, and the last one, Rune of Resilience, -1 modifier onto wound. So I mean, they're all kind of like stopping the opponent. Those,
Mm.
well, actually, that's a lie. The first ones kind of help you out, and the last
Yeah.
ones stop them. But I must admit, the latter three I've seen much more in battles with dwarves than the top
Yes.
three.
Yeah. Definitely keeping their models alive while they hit you, as opposed
Yeah,
to hitting better. It's interesting to see that the Rune of Reckoning and the Rune of Oaths, and the Rune of Revocation, to be fair, are all universal spells. So you can target your opponent, but both of those latter, the Reckoning and Oaths, both say friendly models. So I'm not really sure what effect that would have if you cast it on your opponent. Um, oh no, melee attacks. I suppose. I suppose it does both. Oh, so yeah, so you can put it. Oh yeah. The reason you can put it on both is because you could charge two of your units into one opponent unit,
yeah.
and your
So do
units
you
would get
choose
hatred or zeal.
one of those effects then? It doesn't happen both.
No, because I mean, if you're casting it on your opponent, you're giving your models that go into
Yeah,
them hatred or zeal. Whereas if you choose it on you, you're the one getting it, which is the same effect, but you can double up if you're putting it on your opponent that two of your new units are going into. So that makes sense, actually. No, I've unpicked it. But
yeah.
yeah,
But yeah.
a bit more
So
versatility, especially on a 3-up spell.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess for me it's the Rune of Resolve. If you use it well, is the best spell. Um, I
Sure.
think the latter two are the most solid as
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
just
Absolutely.
with
And you
the
can
synergy of the rest
repeat
of
cast
dwarves.
them from different, because they're bound
Oh, cool.
spells. You can just stack them.
So do
So
you have to? What does it gives you +1 to the casting roll or something for the
I don't
bound
know. I
spells?
don't know with bound spells.
I think there's
Um,
something about it. The casting value goes up if you
yeah,
try
by
and
2.
repeat.
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
Mm.
yeah. So there's something like that.
So
Anyway,
yeah, I suppose it's probably
anyway.
still, yeah.
Solid spells. They definitely really help the army. All of them do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like
So
it.
here's the limits on the things. So so basically limits on shooting, basically. Um, and we go on to the characters. The king, a very very solid offensive 7, defensive 7, strength 4 basic, which is odd. Um, but then he never is strength 4.
No, I mean, if you're leaving him at strength 4, then chances are you're not expecting him to be killy, and you're doing the opposite one, which is that you won't kill me, and you're using all these other effects. But
Yeah,
I think these days we're seeing killy kings over resilient kings,
yeah, definitely.
or
And
maybe
I,
both. But
I had a
yeah,
battle the other day where there was one that was just out on his own, like scouting around, shooting monsters as well. So that was quite fun. So I think quite versatile and stuff. And also, if you look at his profile, he's got devastating charge, +1 strength AP. That is a dwarf thing. That is a dwarf rule that they'll
yeah,
get, not just the king. So you bear that in mind that if they get bonus to charge and a bonus to not charge, yeah, they're pretty sturdy characters and units.
Very much so. And just just to rewind ever so slightly, I've just looked at the bound spells and the effects for repeat casting. Normally, when someone repeat casts the same spell as a normal learn spell, it's -3 to the casting roll, so not 2, like I said. But for a bound spell, it's only -1 for the casting roll. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So
yeah,
not too
so
bad,
pretty cool.
really, considering
Yeah,
it's so low. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, going to the king. I mean, the War Throne's awesome. It's we'll see it in the mount section, but I think kings on War Thrones are definitely something that you look at and you think, can I be bothered to read these runes, or am I just going to stay away?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Absolutely.
So,
And but now you've read this, you've seen this battle review. Maybe you'll know some of the
yeah,
runes
you'll
that
know
are
the
in there
runes.
now.
Too right. Yeah, I mean,
Which is the whole point of
no
doing this.
promises. Yeah.
So the other thing to note is that you can have one battle rune, and you can have grudges,
Mm,
as a thing. So they get in like extra. If he is the general, he's going to have another grudge on top of his already one that he's got. So
yeah.
for an extra 40 points, he has 2 grudges. So things like
Mm,
that are pretty cool. And yeah, he has a few options. They're not dwarves don't really have too many mounted options, so
no.
that's one of their drawbacks. So they are generally on foot or on a war throne. So yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. The shield bearers is a nice in between, which we'll
yeah.
see. But mm, yeah.
The Thane can have a can be a BSB. He can, if he's the general, he can have a grudge as well. But obviously, you don't have the standard one that's on his
No.
profile.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, there's no reason why he can't still be a general at discipline 9. He'll and disciplined. He'll still do a very good job.
Yeah,
But
very
this
much
guy
so.
can't have a battle rune himself, so that's probably where the difference is.
Yeah,
I don't know how long he's not been able to have one. I think there was a little bit of resistance when Thanes and Kings got battle runes at all, because it kind of suggested that the runic smith and everything were going to be
yeah.
defunct.
But then they don't
Yeah,
have channel, so that's
no,
going back
true.
to that +1 dispel. So that
Yes.
I kind of like that as well. I don't mind that too
Mm,
much.
yeah.
Speaking of which, Runic Smith has channel. He already has magic resistance 1 and
Mm,
runecraft mastery, which means melee attacks from a model in a unit containing runecraft mastery, aka this guy, getting +1 to AP. And so I think
yeah.
there's just so many reasons to have at least one Runic Smith.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's been a long-standing rule in dwarf history,
Yeah,
and I think it is one thing that makes the runic smith unique enough to definitely consider. Um, even if you didn't really want much of the magic, and you will get the magic, you do have to pay for it still. But even just a 130 point runic smith to give your unit +1 AP isn't a terrible idea.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, not too bad. And he can be the general at discipline 9 again. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
If you want to go that, but you can have a load of Runic Smiths.
yeah, yeah. Maybe 7.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
it's terrible.
engineer, then is the last character choice, I think. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no,
No,
no.
we've got the
Silly
seekers.
me,
Yeah.
silly me.
Mm,
But yeah, engineer is for your. Well, it has a Wormslayer rocket potential, which is very
mm.
cool. Strength
Oh
6,
yes, it
AP
does.
3, Mob Wounds D3 guy. That
Yeah.
alone is pretty a nice option for
Hmm.
him. But you can, as with most engineers, I think who are the other ones that have it? Empire.
Yeah,
Are they the only two?
it might be. I mean, I guess I was going to say vermin swarms, but we didn't. No, I don't think that is the case.
Yeah. So maybe
Um,
what if you want to improve your war machines? Dwarves already have
mm,
decent ones, but with an engineer that can make it a bit better, can use their
yeah.
aim value, I think, is what it is. But anyway, or +1 to the aim. Or
Yeah.
rerolls or
I'll have a
something
little
like
look at
that.
the
I don't
engineer
really,
role now.
yeah, not sure.
But
But yeah, lots of options. But basically, this guy has to improve your artillery if you have him in there. So you're going to keep him fairly cheap. You might have a Wormslayer rocket because it's pretty cool, or a Forge Repeater or something. But otherwise, yeah, he's going to help out your war machine and make them more effective.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the engineer rule, it just gives +1 to hit with shooting attacks.
Yeah, cool.
So it doesn't even have to be on war machines. Just a non-shaken unit that is unengaged with an engineer can select a friendly model within 6 inches of themselves. So it doesn't even have to be a unit you've joined.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Onto the Dragon Seeker. Now, this is a very different type of dwarf unit. Loads of special rules. So, die and blow. So, you always get to hit fearless, stubborn, unstable, vanguard, ages 60 plus by things, devastating charges, as with all the dwarves. Weapon master, zeal anyway. Great weapon, paired weapons. So, as all the options, you can either make him have plus grim resolve +1 attack for each enemy in contact with. So he's going to be a infantry grinder,
Infantry
I
killer.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the monster seeker, which does exactly what it says on the tin, maximizing the charge range against 3 and 5 and giving mop wounds 2.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed this guy's got unstable. I really don't like that. I just
Yeah.
don't think it fits. I mean, it's hard enough to keep these guys alive, and I know dying blow means you will get to fight, but unstable is just like a real kick in the teeth for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So
Fair.
there you go. But maybe people who play dwarfs regularly, because I'm not one of them, as you know, can tell me that it doesn't matter and that you just get past it.
Yeah, I guess you put them in units, right? You can put them in
Yeah,
units.
yeah, and I guess they can go in seeker units.
Yeah.
Can they go in any unit? It hasn't got attached or anything, is it? Can they go in any unit?
It might be part of the unstable rule where you can't
Oh,
join
okay.
because that
Yeah,
would
sure. That would make
get
sense.
around it, wouldn't it?
That would make sense. Yeah, so then they don't need to say
Yeah.
attached seekers or anything if it's
In terms
fair
of
enough.
the mounts, was kind of done them recently, but this is what you get for them. You get a bit of armor, a bit of extra armor for the shield bearers, and some
Always good.
strength. Well, a strength for attack, a couple. But with the
Yeah.
War Throne, you get 6 HP and 4 attacks at strength 4 AP1 as well. So it's just massive thing. It gives you extra armor and loads of AP, loads of HP. So
And an ancient grudge just to boot, which is
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
So that is really cool. So I mean, already you're looking at you have a BSB with a grudge. You got your king with 2 grudges, and this with a grudge. You got 4 grudges, 4 units that are gonna, just very easy to rack that up. Into core, and we've got clan warriors, your standard chaps. Lots of options. Although I must admit, you do see them with spears quite a lot, and that saddens me.
It does, because we've already said how good shield wall is, and you can't use shield wall with spears.
Yeah.
So,
but you do get the extra attacks and AP and all that stuff as well. So it does. There are some good synergies with that, as well as getting the +1 strength and AP on the charge. So that's always a good thing. Your bog standard guys at offensive 4, not too bad. Strength 3 with weapon options.
strength 3 AP naught kind of leads them towards spears as well. Because unless you go on great weapons, which is fine if you do, but again, you're not getting your shield wall if you do that.
Yeah.
So, spears just it shines out, doesn't it? So
it does, especially when you can have 40 of them. So I think that's the tend to be there. Greybeards, we have again similar options, although they can only have great weapons as things, but they can have thrown weapons, both of which can have thrown weapons, and you do see that quite a bit.
Yeah,
especially
if you go in
Greybeards
MSU
having fearless. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you can you get 40 clan warriors with throwing weapons? I mean, if you could get that to work.
Yeah, I think you definitely can.
Go 20 wide.
Well, yeah, sure.
Unit.
I think what I have seen is like 4 units of either Greybeards or clan warriors with thrown weapons and whatever things they want. Normally, if they're doing that, it's like paired weapons and shield, so they have the shield wall. But
I'm thinking of that combat reform standard. Like,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
20 wide with your throwing weapons, chuck 80 projectiles at something, they
yeah.
charge you in their annoyance, and you just form up.
I mean, yeah, throwing weapons are two each anyway, aren't they? So like you can just even 20 at your own strength. I mean, these guys that
Oh
having
yeah.
it have strength 4 AP1 as well, so
Mm.
that's pretty good for a shooting
Oh
weapon. And
yeah. Even if you do it on the greybeards, it's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the magic movement spell as well, you got so many
Mm.
options, like we said. So yeah,
Yeah.
Greybeards to me are the better choice out of these two. But if you did want a
Yeah.
big unit of spears, I think you can with the clan
Yeah.
warriors.
Definitely. Yeah. Interesting. The greybeards have like retained their lifelong rally around the flag kind of thing,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
good. I like that. Yeah.
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 Uh,
They're just both good, solid units, aren't they? So.
No, they are. They are. Grey Watchers, Grey Watchers, Greybeards are very very resilient all round and do
Yeah.
like give you everything as well. I think so.
Mm.
Yeah, I do like the MSU Greybeard choice
Yeah.
actually.
I think they're
Clan
both
Map.
pretty cheap as well for extra models. Like 12
Yeah,
points and 16
yeah.
points is a steal, I think. So, yeah, really nice.
Clan Marksmen. They are the ones that have options to the guild-crafted handguns and the crossbows.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, they're pretty devastating actually with strength 4. I think AP2 guild-crafted handguns. Um,
Yeah, they do.
so
Correct.
you can end up getting some pretty decent support fire. That's pretty hard to get hold of, and good. It can double up as chaff. 190 for 10 is not something to sniff at.
Yeah, you don't mind if this eventually does get charged because they've probably done their job clearing the chaff for you. Um, you know, I mean, the crossbows are only strength 4 AP1, but because they're 30 inches,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
incredible. So
That's the
all
choice, isn't it?
three options are good. I mean, you're probably less likely to see crossbows and great weapons, because you can only have 20 of them, and chances are they're not going to hold up that long, even with great weapons. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I mean, they're still Res 4. Like having an army of Res 4
Mm,
is pretty good.
yeah,
Like
you just lose your shield with the great weapon, so you'd only be
yeah,
5 up armor, and that won't
yeah,
stand
yeah,
up to much. But yeah, let us know if you do prefer the crossbow and great weapon option, because I've been
yeah.
wrong before many times.
On to special, and we have Kingsguard.
Oh
Now
yeah.
Kingsguard definitely used to, in a different iteration, have two attacks. So
Mm,
they've gone back to one attack, which, but I think they've got an extra pip of armor.
yeah.
Maybe, maybe not.
Although King's Oath, which is they've got inherently, gives them an extra attack, so it's just not on their profile.
Oh, okay.
But it has to be allocated towards target in a unit containing a grudge marker.
Right, sure.
So
So
they can
they
only do
kind
it
of
against
still have
someone they've
it.
got
Okay.
hatred against. Yeah. So this would be the unit that you're taking if you are maximizing or at least getting a fair few grudge markers out.
Okay.
Because otherwise you become a bit more generic, which is not what you're paying all the points for.
Yeah,
Um,
it's very
I mean,
expensive.
they've got hatred anyway, so it's a little bit counterintuitive that you're going against a unit with a grudge marker,
Yeah,
but you had
just
hatred
yeah,
anyway.
just gives
So
them an extra attack rather than two. So it's something extra to remember. I think.
yeah, yeah, and you got your great
Yeah,
weapon, so you know you're going to wound well. So
and we've already said it's fairly easy to build up 2, 3, 4
mm,
grudges. So I
yeah,
guess if you're taking these guys, you are making sure you've got the higher end of that.
yeah,
But yeah, they're
exactly that.
okay. They're not too bad. Quite expensive for infantry, but I mean they're all pretty infantry. But they do get kind of outshone, I think, by the next
Do you
unit.
think? Okay.
Well, ETC this year is a big example of that. There
Oh
is
right.
so
Okay.
many deep watch,
Right.
and between the 15 and 25 as well, like all sorts of combinations of
Yeah.
deep watch, and 2, 3, even 4 units of them
Right. Okay.
going around. So these guys have all the armor. They have Aegis 5 up as standard with melee
Yeah.
attacks as well. You're only going to be strength 4, but obviously with devastating charge and with all the other options you have and the spells and things,
Yeah. Your
it's
pick of
not too
runic
bad.
banners. Yeah.
So
Mm.
you end up
And
having like
resolute.
some Resolute's incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really good. So you have a couple of these units flying around, and actually in combination with each other, they're pretty hard to
Yeah.
shift, and can really
And you
hold up
can
here.
make use of your bodyguard with only a Thane, which is interesting as well.
Yeah. So you
You know,
could
you
have
don't
just a
have to
couple
pay
of
for the king.
Thanes. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that the King's Guard on paper look better because you got great
Hmm.
weapon, you get stretch 6, 2 attacks, etc.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
the Deep Watch just outshine them a little bit at the minute,
Well,
and Deep
it,
Watch are much cheaper.
yeah, it goes back to what I was saying about no one needs to kill anything anymore. You just need to not die. You know, with your static combat res. Like if you just do a few wounds to your opponent here or there, but make sure you don't die. You know, use your static combat res so it's most effective. You know, you'll kill a bit more because you've got pressing ranks anyway. Hopefully, maybe not with 25, but you know, you might just not die and keep that.
Yeah, I think
So,
because of the amount of shooting you've got though, you're going to whittle them
mm,
down to be less than you, and I think
that's it.
because of your res 4, you've got all the armor, you've got
Yeah,
yeah, well, not edges to shooting, but you're going to die less to their shooting than they are to
exactly,
yours. So
definitely.
by the time you actually go, you should have maybe not pressing ranks, but you should definitely have more ranks.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
even so, you're not really that bothered about killing anything because nothing can kill you. So
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, mm,
Um,
yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, but
but
yeah,
yeah,
you're obviously right because ETC has spoken to
well,
agree with
that's
that.
it. That's
So
it. There's yeah, quite ETC is quite stupid, but we won't get into that. We'll do that
no,
separately. Seekers. So these are the little brothers of the character entrance, and we
yeah,
have two types.
yeah. I mean, I'm just like scanning through it to see because I haven't looked at this recently. It's another one of those slightly weirdly laid out units, which I'm
Yeah,
not a huge fan of.
not a fan of this. Yeah,
Um,
just put it in 2 units. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, one's extraordinary, so you can only have one unit of it. They're similar in the amount of models you can get. The Seekers you can get more of. Similar-ish prices going on. Same stat line, which is why I'm confused already. Um, yeah, I suppose the Brothers of Vengeance gain hard target, light troop skirmisher, which means they're more maneuverable. But when you're only mobility 4 anyway, yeah. um, okay, it's tough to know. I mean, they're
Yeah,
just
I mean,
different functions, aren't they? Really?
yeah, Brothers of Vengeance are a delivery system most of the time, unless they don't have any shooting. If they don't have any shooting,
Mm,
they become very tough to get rid of. I think.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think you wouldn't take the Vanguard on these guys because of um the vulnerability to shooting.
Mm. Yeah, although hard target 1 will help, so there's
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I
true.
mean, even so, with no armor and only ages 6 up, yeah, yeah, anything that wants to kill you will do. So,
Yeah,
especially magic,
and
you
uh,
know.
yeah, then there is another special option, almost a character with that isn't a character,
Mm,
in the Vengeance Seeker himself. So this is a solitary guy, yeah. So this is if you want just one guy, it's going to be on his own, a bit like the Orcs and Goblins Wrecking Team. This guy.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, he's got the reroll to wound from the zeal, but he is only the strength 4. Although whirling change of doom, he's always got, so he's actually
Yeah,
strength
so strength
5
5,
if he's
agility 10
2.
as well.
Yeah.
That's such a weird
Mm.
want for a rule. Do you not think
Mm.
like because the extra rule just changes his stats? So why not just
Yeah.
change the stats?
There must be a logic for that. They did the
Yeah,
writers, the designers, they're pretty clever. They must have worked out that there's some kind of loophole. Well, that would be horrible if they didn't change the stats.
yeah,
Um, so there's probably a reason for it that I'm not intelligent enough to figure out.
yeah.
But you're right, it does just change the stats. So yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, so he's your guy that's going to be going around a bit like the other guy if you don't have a unit of Brothers of Vengeance or Seekers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, sort of distracting, hard target, and resistance against
yeah.
melee. So he's got a chance of surviving as
But
well,
with 3
which is
HP,
good.
just takes a bit
Mm.
of bad luck from your perspective to lose him, I
Yeah,
think.
and doesn't gain dying blow. This guy hasn't got dying blow like all the
Oh, that
others
is
have.
interesting.
So
Yeah,
that's a weird one. So, but I guess he's agility 10, right? So
yeah, yeah.
don't worry about it.
um,
Actually,
the next one, which I think if I remember rightly, I think there's quite a lot of hold guard as well at ATC.
Okay.
And in terms of the unit profile, you kind of see why in that they're one thing that I really like, and there's a few units across Ninth Agent do it, are the ability to choose something at the start of
Start of the
every
battle.
battle. So
Yeah.
they have +1 strength and AP, or they can have +3 agility and Vanguard. And I just think that that option makes them super versatile. Really, really good for team tournaments as well.
Mm.
But also, I guess in singles where you're trying to create jack of all trades armies as well.
Yeah. 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 It's really good, and I mean both options are takeable as well. So if you want that Vanguard and extra agility, then go for that.
Yeah,
If you need
definitely.
just them to be solid killers, then go for the other one. But like you
Yeah,
say, it's all about the pre-game that makes that such a good rule.
for
So
sure, for sure. So yeah, I mean, not over 90 per extra one is a bit
mm,
expensive, but I don't think in terms of all of them, you're looking at what 520 for a unit of
yeah,
six
it's
models.
still affordable within the 600 cap.
Yeah,
So
so put musician standard 540, you got 60 points for a banner enchantment as well. So I think that's pretty good overall, and I
mm,
think they're quite a nice unit. I
yeah,
mean,
res
3
5,
HP, res
3 up armor.
5,
Yeah,
yeah, all
discipline
that.
10 as
So
well. So
so yeah, just yeah, I can you can kind of see once you start digging in movement 5 as well, so a bit quicker than a lot of your other
mm,
dwarves. So yeah, once you start unpicking the thing, I think you can see
mm,
why it's so popular.
definitely agreed. Yeah, yeah. The old Grudge Buster is a unit that I particularly like with the flying option.
Yeah,
This is one of your flyers. And the grind attack's 3d3, strength 5 hits. It is really cool. It's kind of like a chariot, but doesn't impact hit. It just grinds
yeah,
and it's
I
slowly
really
taps
like.
into you. So
Yeah, and this is someone has gone. No, we just need it. We need the grinds to hit first, and we don't want to put impact hits on. Devastating charge
yeah,
+10 agility. It's agility 12 on the.
I know.
Is that capped? Is that capped nowadays,
I've
or is
no
it
idea. I'm not
straight
even going
up?
to open the book to find out.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because if anything needs to
answer in
be,
the comments: is that capped, or is it actually agility 12? Because that's
yeah,
clearly someone going, no, no, we don't want anything
yeah.
to go before this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they could have just quite easily put +8 agility to make it
Yeah,
10, and
yeah,
then the question wouldn't have even come up. But yeah, someone's having fun with that.
absolutely.
Uh,
So
and there's that forge
someone snuck
repeater.
it in there,
So
and no one said anything, and they're like,
no, yeah, yeah. Screw you, Vampire Lord and
yeah,
Dread Elf
with
Lord,
a
and
potion of
you know,
swiftness.
yeah,
There'll be something like that. There'll be some combination where it gets to agility 11, and he's like, no, I don't want
yeah. I'm gonna grudge buster you.
that. But yeah,
Love it.
like a flying thing that has the forge repeater, as we said, right at the
Mm,
start, so the decent strength 5
mm. Yeah,
stuff. But yeah, so yeah, pretty cool.
I love it.
Miners.
Mm. I don't see too
Miners.
many of these days.
Yeah, although I came up against some in the MSU style thing.
Okay.
They can be scoring, so that's the thing if you
Mm.
have a standard with them. They ambush, which is quite nice
Ambush
for
is huge. Yeah.
yeah
Mm.
for them. And yeah, I mean they're just a standard, I guess, greybeard stat line without the fearless. Um,
Yeah, I think Greybeards have got better offensive skill, haven't they? Oh
okay,
no, they
sure,
haven't. No,
yeah.
you're right. No, they haven't actually. You're right. It's the same.
But yeah,
So
definitely
yeah,
see a lot of these with thrown weapons or pistols. There's a bit of a shooting
yeah,
coming on, shoot something. At least one turn of shooting because you're ambushing and you can get them out of arc and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah, another versatile unit. I think you do have to have a bit of practice with these guys.
Mm,
I don't think they're effective straight away. I think there's a bit of a learning curve with these, but as soon as you sort of get to know what they're good at and how to use them to get objectives and things like that, I think they can be
mm.
really, really a massive advantage for you.
Yeah, and one thing we're not talking about when we do these army book reviews is we're not really looking at the synergies they have with their secondary objectives, like from the seasons pack.
Yeah, yeah,
And with the ambush, probably is useful in combination with that. But I mean,
yeah,
ambush scoring unit is always useful traditionally. So Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. The Anvil of Power, now another one that will allow you to get some channel, and
Hmm.
can be a nice way outside of the character allowance to keep that +1 to spell. Um,
Yeah.
it doesn't move, or it doesn't
Nope.
charge. It can move, interestingly, but
Okay.
I don't know whether emplacement means you can't move.
I'll have a look.
Yeah.
I think we had a look at it in a previous book review, and I've already forgotten what emplacement
Sure.
does.
But 4 up
Uh,
armor, 5 up aegis, 5 HP. It takes a lot of ranged stuff. Yeah, it's a surprising amount of ranged things to get it, especially with magic resistance too. 36-inch range to your runic spells as well means that this is a very viable just to have this guy
yeah.
as your spellcaster really.
Mm, definitely. Yeah, and emplacement is, you're right, it can move, but it can't flee or charge or march
Yeah.
or anything. And if it does move, it can't shoot. And it shoots just like a war machine should from any point on its base. The classic war machine stuff. But it also, if it does flee for any reason, then it gets destroyed. So
It
it won't
does,
be,
yeah.
you won't
But
be chasing after it. So
no,
yeah.
but I mean, in terms of that, it's stubborn and unstable anyway.
Mm,
So it kind of the emplacement basically just means it can't move. Then you have all the other
yeah,
things that means if you beat it in combat, you're gonna die. And most of the time, even with the res 4, 4 up armor, 5 up aegis, 5 HP, you should beat it in combat if you get there. Um,
yeah. If
but
if the anvil guards get to fight, then
yeah,
you're going to be a bit annoyed. But they can do some damage. So
yeah, I mean strength 6, 3 attacks, strength 6, but that's not what it's on the board for. Channel 2 is
no
great. The 36-inch range on the stuff means that
spell,
there's not many, especially with your lowish movement. There's not many times when it's not going to be in range.
definitely. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, really solid.
Solid.
200 points is cheap as well. For
Really
everything
cheap.
that it gets. I think that is a bit too
Yeah.
cheap on
Three
the cheap
spells
side.
magic. Really good.
Yeah. But yeah, Anvil of Power, very, very good. Rangers. Rangers are your versatile chaps with the Crag Warden option. They get Scout, they get Strider Forest, which is funny to me, and Vanguard as well. Quick to fire with whatever they choose, so they can move and fire without penalty.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't see many of these guys. I think there's just
No.
more ranked up infantry units that are more preferable. Um, but
But they're
and also
cheap.
they're not filling core tax, which is a thing. That might mean you take your handgunners over them.
Yeah,
But
I think so. I think
yeah,
they're one of the units that are tried to. It's just another. I mean, you've seen throughout this really. There's infantry, 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 and
hmm,
this is the what do they call it? Jack of all trades, master of none,
yeah,
and I think that does kind of work against him here. They're kind of
mm,
a little bit good at everything, but they're not that good.
no, no. I mean, if you want them to take shield wall, then you've only got strength 3. If you
Yeah,
give them great weapons, then you're not getting shield wall. And then you've got to rely on your shooting, and your shooting isn't brilliant because you can't take your handguns. You have to take crossbow or throwing weapons, which is fine, but then you can't take too many of them. There's a lot of if, buts, and
yeah,
maybes going on.
I think
So, like
so.
you say, so
So one for the
yeah,
wooden spoon, but not quite the
yeah,
elite
but
rules, I think.
it would be a solid choice in the wooden spoon, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Funnily
it.
enough,
They do things relatively well. I just don't think they shine in any particular area.
hmm, agreed.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Forge Wardens. So these are predominantly shooting. They're not really built for combat in terms of that. Although they do have the standard dwarf stat line, I guess.
yeah,
And 4 up armor. But they're resistant to flaming, which is nice. There's not too much flaming damage. I get me a pyro, but pyro is not particularly good against dwarves anyway, so you're pretty happy if you come
no,
up against pyro anyway.
yeah,
The Forge Warden has the Forge Gun, which is what we kind of originally at the start got a bit confused
panicked.
with, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
this is
definitely
one
did.
shot each. 3 plus always hits on the 3 plus, so there's no modifiers at all.
Mm,
With
yeah,
flaming tax, can march and shoot, which is great because the 8 tax sort of bypasses the 18-inch range, and can stand and shoot, which is nice. So
yeah,
at strength 4 AP 0, you're not killing too much, but you are basically getting rid of chaff. I mean that
Hmm.
so many shots always hitting on a 3+, likely
Yeah,
wounding on a 3+ as well against chaff. I think these are
yeah,
the ultimate chaff killers. Now, I think in recent iterations, 3+ used to be a 2+, so I think they've
sure.
kind of got a bit of
Nerfed a bit.
a nerf in 3.0. Um,
Mm.
but yeah,
Pretty
just as a
expensive at
standalone,
18 points an extra model, with 16 being your max as well. But
yeah,
that's to be expected from something that's always
yeah,
hitting on
but
threes.
a very reliable chaff killer, I think, and someone that
Hmm
can plink away at maybe some of the less armored monsters.
hmm yeah, yeah. Or if you've got a monster that's only strength 5, res 5, then
Yeah, yeah.
these guys are going to
Giants,
go
right?
for it like a homing missile. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
no, absolutely. So I quite like them. They're not
Mm.
overly popular, but they're not like completely shelved either. So
No, I mean, next week they'll have different rules anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
they won't, just for the record. But
Yeah.
you get what I mean.
Steamcockters, the baby brother of the Grudge Busters or
Buster.
whatever,
Mm.
Buster.
Hmm
Um, they have obviously the fly, so they're the little helicopters. Solitary Swift
Yeah.
Ride, Forge Repeaters as well. So definitely seen two or three of
Mm.
these around and just plinking from a safe distance and
Yeah.
arc the Forge Repeaters. That's definitely a way forward for them. Can have
Mm.
shrapnel grenades or
Or bombs.
shrapnel bombs.
Hmm
Yeah. Yeah, and you get either a sweeping attack 2d6 strength 3 AP1, which I think is every turn, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so much better than the breath weapon now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sweeping
yeah.
attacks. So.
Um,
Mm.
or a strength a D3 one, which I'm trying to look at the grenades. Use once only, so you can be activated in moving phase when activated. Model gains sweeping attack D3. Yeah, I'm not really
Hmm
sure what the bonus of shrapnel grenades. I suppose shrapnel grenades are free, right? That's the thing. And then if you want to
Yeah.
upgrade them, you can upgrade them to bombs.
Mm. Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I mean, it's only usable once per turn, but that's still 6 times
yeah,
better than the breath weapon. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I like these guys. 190 points, potentially 225, I guess. For
Mm.
single models, I like them as chaff anyway. Flying
Yes.
chaff that's 816 is pretty good.
Really
As
good.
well as the shooting option. A pretty devastating shooting option for what could be seen as chaff, I think.
Yeah, and also just for the record, that if you are chaffing something and it can't deal with your Res 5 or up armor,
Yeah,
then you could even chaff it for a little while. Like, I'm not
yeah.
saying the whole game, but
Not
it needs
guaranteed to
sustained
be
effort to be
wiped,
killed.
are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. If you put it in front of something with not many attacks, actually, the Res 5
yeah,
does really help. So I've definitely
definitely.
charged into this with a few things and it been left on
Mm,
one wound and got away. So
yeah, and it's not going to go down to ranged attacks either at Res 5. Like we
yeah,
said about, go for your Res 5 monsters with the Forge Wardens, and this guy's going to take some sustained hits before it'll actually not be chaff on the board anymore. So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
really
agreed.
cool.
Agreed. And
Mm,
that takes us on to the field artillery. Now, there's quite a lot of options here. We've got some. Yeah, we'll go through all the options. So they have their standard stat line, but an
mhm.
emplacement solitary stubborn. So that just comes as standard with all of them.
Yeah,
But we have some options in terms of. I'm just trying to get it on the screen.
yeah.
The actual what
5
the
different
artillery could
choices.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
So
your ballista, your cannon, your flame cannon. You got your catapult, you got your dwarf cannon, and your organ gun. 5 very, very different, but also gives you a lot of different choices, which
yeah.
can fit any party. So,
Yeah, all of which can have flaming if you want, and
hmm
can be rune crafted. Rune crafted gives them a specific upgrade depending on what they do.
yeah,
But yeah, the fact that they can all be flaming shots if you want as well. I think, but if you give them flaming, they've always got flaming, haven't they? So
yes, yeah.
if you give them that, don't go against ID. Basically, is you.
Or your, is it flame wardens? Well, are they still called that?
Yeah,
Your boys.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so otherwise, yeah, your dwarf ballista is your big one strength, big high strength, what was D3 thing. Flame cannon's really good against infantry, right?
Really good. Yeah, just mow it
Uh,
down.
yeah,
Definitely.
so being strength 4 AP1 as well against infantry is that in a game where infantry is meta,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
can be
I think
pretty
this
good.
this is definitely a candidate for the rune crafted as well to get that extra AP on it.
Yeah,
So because
for
I mean
sure.
those poor elves who are already being hit wounded on threes. If you're AP2 as well, and they're not even getting their little pansy 5-up armor, are they? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
All
very
like,
nice.
especially like all of these are pretty cheap for what they do. You
They
do
are.
have the organ gun, the most expensive thing, especially when you rune craft it. But
Mhm.
for what they can potentially do, I think these are all fairly cheap, especially if you consider
Yes.
the option to put an engineer with them. I think,
Mm. I mean,
yeah,
you do have to pay the 100 points for the base stats on top of these prices, so don't
yeah,
forget that as well. Your basic non-upgraded, non-rune crafted organ gun is coming in at 250 points.
oh
But
sure,
like you
yeah.
say, that's still good. Um, so, you know,
But yeah, catapult. I don't like the redesign. It's only a personal thing. I don't like the redesign to catapults. Catapults seem to be better monster killers than they are infantry
mhm.
killers, which
Yeah.
seems unintuitive. I think.
Well, it crosses over into the cannon territory, doesn't it? When you
Yeah,
start talking about aiming for monsters. So, but I guess, like you said, the flame cannon is so good against infantry that where does the catapult actually sit?
yeah,
Um, so, I mean, I guess it's good as an in between because if you go against like monstrous cavalry, that 2x2 area attack is going to be nice.
yeah.
Um, against the chosen knights who are ranked up in 2x2, then that's your target.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, it's a bit niche. So
Um, I do wonder which one's the best. I'd say flame cannon overall because I think it has so many armies that really worry, like demons or elves
well,
or
yeah, in a world of infantry as
goblins.
well. Yeah,
Yeah, I think um, especially with AP2 as a potential.
mm,
I think it's pretty good. Although I don't, yeah, on paper, organ gun is better than it actually is. I think is what we've.
yeah.
So I
A lot of non-dwarfs will hate organ guns, and
yeah
then a dwarf player will say it's not actually as good as you think. So it's almost like it does its job before it even gets to the battlefield.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I know, Dan has just tried organ guns galore and doesn't really have as much confidence in them as we do, as enemies of the dwarfs. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
But yeah, let us know your favourite of these. There's 5
Mm,
options. Which is your favourite?
yeah, good.
Um,
Could just go with the traditional cannon, couldn't you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
And that
smash
is
things off.
that is it. That is
Mm,
our review of the Dwarven Holes book. Hopefully,
don't
it
hate them.
wasn't as bitter as we we actually are.
I think
Because
we teased it at the start, but I think we got better. We started to
yeah,
like them more
yeah.
towards the end.
I think there's some. I mean, with the infantry, as we said, meta being a thing, and this being a predominantly infantry army with a few little flying things and whole guardians as a decent choice. I think they're a strong book at the minute.
Yeah, I do as well. I think they're in the right place at the right time with their infantry boosts
Yeah,
and the fact that they've got lots of shooting and things to back it up as well. They can maximize their options of winning objectives here and there. Yeah, I think they've got a bit of everything. Really good
yeah,
place
for
for them.
sure. So let us know what you think of the book. Let us know if we've missed any, as always, if we've missed any glaringly obvious
Mm,
things.
which we will.
Uh, yes, we absolutely will. And yeah, whether you agree with some of our things, predominantly being why do people dwarves? Why do people hate dwarves?
Yeah,
The big question.
yeah, yeah. And
Is
what
it
what can they do to be forgiven?
yeah? Is it because of some of the nope items and things like
Just take
that?
spears off the core, and I think that'll go a long way.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
no, thanks very much. If you got to the end, well done. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you next time for our next book review.
we will. Looking forward to it already.
See you later.